Hello, and welcome to your last group meeting. Congratulations on all the hard work that you've been doing along this journey. Remember where we started. Emotional health is often neglected, and emotional maturity is a rare commodity in our fast-paced, quick-fix, instant gratification, surface-level, satisfaction-driven culture. It takes courage, humility, vulnerability, and honesty to even begin this journey, let alone to stay on it. Good for you! We hope that something within you has been opened up during this time and that you'll consider keep exploring this as we go forward. This week's topic is slowing down to lead and live with integrity. If the devil can't make you sin, he'll make you busy. You've probably heard this common saying before, and we all live it out, don't we? Speaking for myself anyway, I'm always trying to do as much as I possibly can with the time that I have. I know I can't do it all, but I like to think, or at least act like, I can come pretty close. I fill my schedule so full that there's hardly time for anything that comes up unexpectedly. My to-do lists are always longer than the amount of time that I have, and sometimes I lose myself in completing tasks and checking things off the list, focusing too much on doing and neglecting my being. In our productivity and efficiency-driven world, focusing on our being sometimes seems counterproductive. Prayer, contemplation, meditation, sometimes even fellowship and socialization seem like a waste of time or things that we don't have time for. Why is it that when we are the most stressed, most anxious, or in the midst of personal crisis, the first things that we delete from our schedules are the things that give us the most life? Think about it. The first things that I often cut is exercise and self-care. The second thing is some of my devotional time. And the third thing is oftentimes family time. I know these things are what I need in order to stay sane, especially when the chaos is closing in. But when something has to give, even knowing it, what often gives are the things that feed my being so that I can get on with my doing. And then, we all know what happens when we don't nurture our being. Our doing becomes joyless, unfulfilling, and further soul-sucking. I become the checklist robot with no flexibility and have a very hard time of hearing God's Spirit speaking to me or anything unexpected. I take on sometimes more of a martyr complex and become more bitter and jealous of others who seem to have all the time that they want to do what they want. Perhaps you can relate with some of these reactions. Perhaps you can add your own things to this negative response cycle that we create in ourselves, the self-defeating behavior that we engage in when the pressures of life get to us. I have so much to do that I shall spend the first 3 hours in prayer. That's what Martin Luther said. God tells us again and again that God's will for us is more about our character than what we achieve. God constantly invites us to let our doing flow from our being. We know that prayer is not only preparation for the greater work of God, prayer is the greater work. We know this. We know that if we want the world to be changed, we have to start with ourselves, and that change can't happen without intentional reflection, contemplation, and a whole lot of prayer. So, what's it going to take for us to put all these pieces together? What do we need? The truth, as Martin Luther and Jesus Christ demonstrate, is that we are more productive and more efficient when we take the time to nurture our being with God. Slowing down, developing a reflective lifestyle, spending regular time in prayer, contemplation, and reflection with God and with God's Word help us to center and find balance in all of our lives. The other truth is that efficiency is not our highest goal. Faithfulness is. As Christians, God does not call us to be efficient. God calls us to be faithful. God calls us to be people of integrity. The world needs more people who love Jesus and are seeking to live a life of integrity with God and others. Our Ritter Church Renewal talks a lot about integrity, and we look forward to sharing more of that with you in the weeks and months and years to come, especially if you're able to attend a faith walking retreat. But for now, let me summarize. Living a life of integrity with God and others means we seek to give and honor our word by doing what we say we will do when we say we will do it in the manner in which it was meant to be done. That's how we define integrity. And when we're unable to keep our word, which does happen to all of us, we then seek to clean up the mess we've made by getting present to the impact that breaking our word has caused, and then seek to start over with recommitting as is appropriate going forward. Growing in our faith is tough work. It starts with slowing down so we can live a reflective life of integrity with God and others. I want to live an epic life. I think that you do too. This is the one life we get. Let's make the most of it. We do this by continuing to cultivate this reflective living. It's not about what we do, but about who we are, remaining centered and connected to God in the midst of all of our doing. I hope this week's small group give you an opportunity to consider the ways that you can slow yourself down in order to live and lead others with integrity.